See discussions, stats, and author profiles for this publication at https://www.resetarchgate.net/publication/325582145. The False Doctrine of Original Sin Presentation, June 2018, doi 10.1314/rg.2.2.34158.92482. Citations 01 Author, Daniel Kieran, College of Mental Health Counseling. 298 Publications. 2 Citations. See Profile. Reads 1856. Some of the authors of this publication are also working on these related projects: A Counselor Education View Project, Jesus the Messiah View Project. All content following this page was uploaded by Daniel Kieran on June 5, 2018. The user has requested enhancement of the downloaded file. The False Doctrine of Original Sin. The False Doctrine of Original Sin by Daniel Kieran, mswcollegemhc@gmail.com. The false teaching of inherited guilt from Adam is based mostly upon this passage in Psalm 51:5. Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me. In Psalm 51, David is making a statement of personal remorse after his sin with Bathsheba. He is not making an expansive statement about the sinfulness of humanity from conception. Yet it is the idea of inherited guilt that forms the foundation of Catholic and Protestant ideas of salvation, even those who do not practice some form of infant baptism to remove the sin or stain of Adam. The ideas of total depravity and sovereign grace are based largely on the misunderstanding of this verse. Another passage used to support the idea of inherited sin is found in Romans 5:18. Consequently, just as one trespass resulted in condemnation for all people, so also one righteous act resulted in justification and life for all people. This passage is addressing the choice of the individual, not teaching either universal salvation nor universal condemnation at birth due to another's choice. Rather, condemnation, separation from God, is because all sinned, conscious choice, not speaking of infants who lack moral awareness or development of conscience. One must not bear false witness against someone in Exodus 20:16. Accusing the innocent, infants and unborn persons, of having a sin or stain, is itself a sin. God is also accused of imputing the sin of Adam to the innocent. How is this not blasphemy? You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. The idea of inherited sin from Adam is unknown to the earliest Christian writers, the New Testament, Didache, 1 Clement, Justin Martyr, Shepherd of Hermas, Clement of Alexandria, and many others. Tertullian is first to mention the baptism of children, and he is opposed to it. Then Hippolytus, 170–235 AD, Origen and Cyprian clearly prescribe baptism for infants in the 3rd century. Emergence of infant baptism and original sin. 3rd century catacomb inscriptions show the baptism of children began at the urging by parents who feared their child might die. Rather than baptism occurring after birth, as practiced by the time of Cyprian in 250 AD, baptism was performed before death in its earliest development, as it was believed to be essential to entering the kingdom of God, based on John 3:5. To the sacred dead. Florentius made this monument to his worthy son Apronianus, who lived 1 year, 9 months, and 5 days. Since he was dearly loved by his grandmother, and she saw that he was going to die, she asked from the church that he might depart from the world a believer. Inscriptions Latini Christiani Veters Hereafter, ILCV, I 1343, from the 3rd century, edited by E. Deal, 2nd edition, Berlin, 1961. Postumius Eutenian, a believer, who obtained holy grace the day before his birthday at a very late hour and died. He lived 6 years and was buried on the 5th of Ides of July, on the day of Jupiter on which he was born. His soul is with the saints in peace. Felicissimus, Eutheria, and Festa his grandmother, to their worthy son Postumius, ILCV I 1524, from the early 4th century. Sweet Tyche lived 1 year, 10 months, 15 days, received grace on the 8th day before the calends. Gave up her soul on the same day, ILCV, Vol. I number 1531. Irene, who lived with her parents 10 months and 6 days, received grace 7 days before the Ides of April and gave up her soul on the Ides of April, ILCVI 1532. In Everett Ferguson, Early Christians Speak, Faith and Life in the First 3 Centuries, Revised Edition, Abilene, ACU Press, 1984. Origen, 184 to 253 AD, is the first Christian writer to say that baptism removes the innate stains of sin. Origen Homilies on Leviticus says, the fact that in the Church, baptism is given for the remission of sins, and according to the usage of the Church, baptism is given to infants. And indeed, if there were nothing in infants which required a remission of sins and nothing in them pertinent to forgiveness, the grace of baptism would be superfluous. Origen Commentaries on Romans states, the Church received from the Apostles the tradition of giving baptism even to infants. For the Apostles, to whom were committed the secrets of divine mysteries, knew that there is in everyone the innate stains of sin, which must be washed away through water and the Spirit. By the time of Augustine and Pelagius in the early 5th century, infant baptism was universal, and the doctrine of inherited guilt from Adam reached a full definition in the debate between the two thinkers, with Augustine as proponent and Pelagius the opponent. Immersion baptism would not be replaced by pouring until the 13th century. View publication stats.